we have my 1990 G60 Corrado. It's a 5-speed, 1.8 liter supercharged OEM engine from Volkswagen. First is we're just kind of going to go over the body here. As you guys can probably tell, it's not in the greatest shape. Definitely needs another repaint, needs body work on this rear quarter here. Driver's side seems to be the worst. We do have some VR6 fenders on, as this is originally a G60. I do have the parts as well in the back that I can show you guys in a little bit here, but these fenders definitely need paint. The whole car needs paint, unfortunately, so it's going to be a lot like the Mark III over there. But as of right now, this is where we're standing. We're just going to be getting bodywork started this week, so let's try and get some videos on that, and then we'll get some paint on. The passenger side here is in pretty much just as bad shape. We got some rust repair down here. It's not very good. It looks like they just put primer on so it could stop the rust for time being, but that doesn't really do anything with rust already there. Not cleaning it out at all. So our roof is kind of hail damaged here and there. You can see on the car a little bit. There's a dent right here. But it's definitely going to be a big project. Gonna have to PDR a lot of this. We're gonna have to figure something out to get this thing straight again. Kind of got a bad body line right here. I'm just gonna assume that it's poor fitment, poor alignment with all these parts that have probably just been thrown on. If you look at the front headlights here, that gap right down here, and then compared to this one almost looks like it's a VR6 headlights, but this one might be a G60, which doesn't make sense unless it's just unaligned, which it probably is, looking at the center gap right here. But we can fix that. This car is going to be taken all apart. We're going to sand the fenders and the hood on the car. We're going to take the bumpers off. We're going to take the mirrors, door handles out. Going to keep the windows in. Just going to give it a quick respray, quick body work. We got over here. As you can see here, we got some body filler and some putty, glazing putty. Get some things ready, because tomorrow I'm going to be bringing my tools home from work, and we're going to be starting to sand down the rear taillight pocket corner, just right here. As you can see, it's pretty chipped up. It's all up in here. We're going to take the taillight out. I tried popping this bumper off. We got to get an impact and get the other bolt underneath here off. Right there. That one's seized in there pretty good. The other three came out, thankfully. In order for me to start this, I'm going to have to get this rear bumper off. But thankfully it's not too far in there. It's hard to tell. But it's pretty bad here. So I'm going to show you some parts I got with the car that is going to make a lot more sense with the bodywork and all that. But I'm just unsure if I'm going to go that route or just do a quick fix, repaint the car, and sell it. But as you can see here, this whole quarter panel is rusted out, unfortunately. It gets pretty bad down here. Kind of lose this body line right here, so hopefully it's not too much of a hassle to get this replaced. Kind of goes into here, not too bad. But now I'm going to show you guys the interior. So moving to the interior here, we got a pretty basic interior. It's your standard 1990 Corrado interior. We got an aftermarket Pioneer deck. It does work. These speakers here do not work though. It kind of just seems to be coming from the back, or the speakers up in the dash here. But we got the original seats. They're in pretty bad shape. The passenger one I do not have, so I'm gonna have to find a pair of seats for this thing. I was thinking swap out the Mark III seats and put them in here for now, but I'm not too sure. I think one seat is fine for now. I'm not gonna be driving it that much, so it won't be too big of a deal. But we'll jump in here and we'll show you guys around. We got original heated seats. This will focus. Got defrost. these two lights have been going off. We don't have e-brake, so either the cable is stretched or it's broken or it got disconnected somewhere, or it might be seized just on the calipers. I have not gone that far into checking it out, so that'll be a later on issue. Overall, this car cleaned up pretty well. There was a Recaro seat here that was out of a Evo 4 Mitsubishi, so I took those out and I sold them. I was not going to try and put the driver's seat in as it was completely different rails and all that, and I did not want to make new custom ones. So I'm just going to find some original Volkswagen seats out of a Mark II or a Mark III at the junkyard, I think, and I'll just put those in here for now, just because I know they will fit. So the door guards are pretty nice though. Need some touch up on some of the trim pieces here and there. We're missing the speaker cover. It would usually look like that, I believe. The passenger side is pretty well nice. We got that trim there. We are missing that one on this door. The roof, it looked like it was tan before. These look like they were painted at some point. They don't look the greatest, as you can see. It's kind of tan in there. So we got some tan up here, so definitely been painted before. The sunroof is out of a Passat apparently. It's a little upgrade that you can do, because normally it's the steel ones, I believe, that come in the Mark I Corrados, but it does not roll back as it needs some alignment adjustments and all that for it to work properly. So no issues with that. The interior is pretty rough. It's been sitting out in the sun for 10 years, and the previous owner tried to take care of it, but he didn't really enjoy it that much. So what can you do, right? You can only have so many projects and pay attention to one. So we are gonna hop out of the interior here, just give you guys one last look. It's not too bad honestly. Get my finger out of the way. So we got the rear seats. This middle section here has a speaker, which I'm not sure why. I'm not sure if that's OEM. I'm not gonna assume it is. But otherwise, this car is pretty stock. I'm gonna have to figure out something for these sides here. Find a new trim clip here for this, so this doesn't get any more damage than there already is. I got some damage here and there in the interior, but overall, I think it's pretty darn clean for sitting for 10 years in the sun and Canada elements outside. So, but let's head to the engine bay there, and I'll show you guys around there. So here we have the engine bay. As sitting for 10 years, I'm very, very impressed for how well this engine bay looks. It's a little raunchy here and there, don't get me wrong, but then again, this car is 35 years old, and normally these cars are not very well taken care of, and rust likes to eat them alive. So trying to preserve all of this can be hard. So this supercharger was painted orange for some reason, but it was rebuilt by BBM. Not sure if any of you guys know who that is, but there's a shop down in the States somewhere. I'm not entirely sure where. But they rebuilt that about 30,000 kilometers ago, apparently. So, but yeah, this is the engine bay here. I'm not honestly seeing anything too aftermarket here, but there is like this heat diffuser here that's been put on. I'm not sure if these are original or anything. What's that say there? Not sure, I've never really heard of them. The engine bay, we got a little sweat on the corner there. Nothing too bad. It honestly might have been cleaned up pretty darn well. And the guy I bought it from sold it, but this is what the engine bay looks like here. The hood needs a lot of work. This foam stuff is pretty beat up and it's hard. So don't think I'm gonna find any replacements for these at all. So we're gonna have to preserve these as long as I can. But this is the engine bay here again. Got the front end. I'm not sure what kind of headlights these are, but they seem to have a halo and an angel's eye or something like that in both. I'm not sure how those work or if they're wired up at all. They're on both sides. I don't know if you can see that there, but I honestly don't know if these are original or not. I've actually never seen an original G60 Corrado where I live, so this is kind of a first for me. So here it is running. Really smooth running. Previous owner took very well care of this when he owned it. He just unfortunately didn't like it and didn't drive it. This was gonna go into a Mark 1 Cabrio, this G60 engine here. Kind of his intentions on buying it, but that never happened, so I think I lucked out pretty well on this one. There's the lights here, daytime running. Definitely need to do a good tune-up, some basic maintenance after it's sitting for 10 years. Air filter, cool and flush, do a brake service, do an oil change. We'll probably do a transmission flush as well. So that's it running for you guys. I just wanted to make a little video for you guys to show off the next project as we wait for parts for the Mark III. Yes, that's right. Ordering more engine bolts. So what I need to order here is the rod bolts back in here. And the only company that makes them, of course, is ARP. So just to get the OEM style again, I'm gonna have to order these ARP ones just because of that oil funnel they have in these. So we'll have to order some of those up. Just they're almost $250 Canadian, and $250 on some bolts is quite a bit. So we'll be getting to work on this soon. I got a buddy who's gonna bring by some valve stem seals for me so I can get the head assembled. The head here. We're gonna get this assembled. We got all these. We got the old ones taken out because this was hot tanked and cleaned up for this restoration build. So once I get those valve stem seals, hopefully this week we'll see, I can also start assembling this as well as doing the body work on the Corrado there. But I appreciate you guys watching. If you can, like the video and stay tuned for some more Volkswagen videos.